Hello there, Amanda Brett here, watercolour artist from Auckland, New Zealand. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you painting watercolour people, just sketching watercolour people, no drawing, but just simply sketching with some rubbish paint that's in my palette already. So here is my palette, and I'm going to probably use some phthalo blue and some burnt sienna. They seem to be my go-to colours. And I've got some nice juicy fresh paint in my palette, and I'm going to use this lovely squirrel mop for painting with a lot of water, and also going to use this sable synthetic blend brush for doing some more detail work. And I think we'll just get started. So these are people who are going to be sketchy background people, and I think we will just get going. Okay, so I'm just mixing up some nice juicy runny colour, just a little bit, with my phthalo blue, but I just need to make sure there's a lot of water in my brush, and you can see how much water is in there. It's just holding quite a lot, and this is just a small brush. This is really a small detail mop brush, although it is useful for holding a lot of water. So here we go. Painting people in watercolour. So I'm just going to start off. These are people in a cafe, so I'm just going to start off by doing a little bit of a table. And there's the head. Maybe, whoopsie, there's an arm coming down. I think that will go straight over there. Carefully doesn't look too much like Homer Simpson's dad. And then mixing in some more colour. It's a little bit of burnt sienna gone in there. So I'm really just painting silhouettes of people. And what I mean by a silhouette is really just the whole shape of a person. More water and more paint, just quite loose, and there we go, that's better. This person's over here. Maybe there's a bottle there. So we are in a cafe after all. Whoops. A little bit of a dodgy looking bottle. Okay, more paint, more water. And just coming around. Like that. There we go. He's got a bit of a cap on this one. And he's sitting on a chair. He's leaning forward, I think, to try and grab the salt or the pepper or whatever. Here's a table here, a chair here, beg your pardon. Not too worried about any of the... Oh, I didn't do the legs. Here we go. Little leggies. And this one is a lady, I think. There we go. And there's a table leg as well. So pretty loose, which is the way that I prefer to paint. I just feel it seems more natural to me to paint loose. Another bottle there. Now I've got quite a few little puddles going on in here. Oops, actually I will just do his arm. There we go. There's his arm. He's just reaching across for something. There we go, there's another cup in there. So yeah, quite loose. There's my umbrella coming across here. More water, just to slosh it around. So I'm making a thirsty brush and sucking up some of those puddles. And sometimes it's nice to leave the puddles, but the problem is that they do create a bloom, and that can be jolly annoying. But for all you beginners out there, I would stress to you that puddles are a good thing. If you don't have puddles, you haven't got enough water. You can learn to adjust it for your own style of painting later, but initially you need to have some puddles going. Just dumping in some burnt sienna there. Doesn't really matter. Here's backpack. No detail, And there's a dog. I like painting dogs. Won't worry about the detail of any of this right now. And there we have it. Probably need some softened edges, so there's a couple of ways of getting some softened edges. What you can do is just with a little squirty bottle. These are quite handy, these little ones for spritzing, because they're quite easy to take in your travel bag when you're painting away from your studio. Just give it a little bit of a blast, let some of it run in a few places. I've still got an awful lot of puddle there, which I will get rid of. And just sucking that up now with a little bit of a detail brush. Doesn't really matter what you use to suck it up with. Getting rid of it into my sponge that's in my palette. Really happy with that running there. Okay. And I think what I could do at this point, it's still very, very wet. You can see the shine, I think. I can see the shine, so that means that the paint, the water is still very, very damp, very, very wet. So I'm kind of going to have to wait for that to go away. A little bit of spatter, just with a little bit of that colour. And I'm also going to use a paper towel just to get a bit of texture going on. Oh, look how much that's running down. There you go. Just a little bit. Don't want to do too much because the pattern of the paper towel just seems to be a little bit too uniform, because of course it's machine made. Sucking up some more there. And I think as just a final touch for this particular one, I'm just going to whip in a shadow underneath. Right, that's all I need to do. If you wanted to, you could wait for that to dry and then turn that into some more detail, add more detail, shadows under the arms, that sort of thing, and finish it off that way. Obviously you would finish off maybe some straps and buckles and whatnot on the backpack. The dog might have a lead and a black nose and a black eye, and the people might have shadows underneath their collars and that sort of thing. But I think for a background, this kind of painting is actually quite useful. So do have a play with it and see how you get on.